it is so important to remember this weekend and why we have a 3-day weekend at all. Memorial Day is a time to honor those killed while serving our country and protecting our freedom. They paid the ultimate sacrifice. In studio with us this morning, Major Miguel Valrico, war veteran and author. Thank you so much for being with us today. Your book, The Disabled Veteran's Story, I had a chance to flip through it. It really shares the heartfelt and compelling stories of not only the soldiers, but of their families. Tell me why you wrote this book.
The reason I wrote the book, I was compelled by the families, the veterans, their families, and the caretakers who wanted their stories not to be forgotten. So therefore, they asked me to find a platform to share their stories.
And some of the ones, you know, I was really drawn to are the stories I think so many of us who aren't in the military family, we don't think of. We don't think of the spouses, the wives and the husbands who make sacrifices, the children who switch schools 9 times in their life. Tell me about some of those people you talked to.
Yeah, it was very interesting because that same young lady, which in my book, which was about the Coast Guard's member, and he'd been transferred 17 times in 27 years. And the daughter, when she was 8 years old, she went to a funeral of one of his co-workers, and she saw her father every time he left, and he was coming back in a pine box wrapped in a flag. So she was very worried, and it really affected her throughout her life.
Who else do you feature? Because I read some other things. POWs you've interviewed, veterans who are suffering from PTSD. Right.
You know, as we celebrate Memorial Day, I mean, we memorialize and we put the wreath of the unknown soldiers, but we do have the known soldiers, and those are the veterans who are sitting on street corners or saying, hearing things that no one else hears, seeing things no one else sees. And so those people too, you know, oftentimes we say thank you for your service, and I believe we ought to say thank you for your sacrifice and service, because not only does the member sacrifices, but the families and today the caretakers.
Sure, and Miguel, that opens up an interesting conversation to, you know, the reality of what these veterans have faced, and they come home to, many of them are homeless, they are jobless.
Yes.
You know, and I think, you know, in your book you open that conversation.
And also, I omitted the fact that in today's society, I mean, there are about 22 veterans committing suicide daily. And, you know, it's so crazy.
It's very eye-opening, for sure.
It is.
Miguel, thank you so much for being here with us today. We appreciate it. Your book, Disabled Veteran's Story, we're going to post information about where you can get this on our website at abcactionnews.com.